I said, what if I looked around at everything with love? What if I did? What if I said? What if I looked around at everything with love? What if I heard? What if I gave? What if my hand reached out to everything with love? What if I'm a beacon of that light that shines in all of us? And what if I'm the only guide some will see? Then I must recognize within His Spirit, and it's only love. And I must be what I've come here to be. And I know the first step begins within me. What if I felt perfectly whole? What if my heart opened to everything with love? What if I knew only the truth? What if my mind accepted everything with love? What if I'm a beacon of that light that shines in all of us? And what if I'm the only guide some will see? Then I must recognize within the Spirit, and it's only love. And I must be what I've come here to be. Yes, we're gonna be what we've come here to be. Oh, Mother, Father, Spirit, guide us from above. Our sons and daughters look to us to show them love. Come, sisters, brothers, let's hold hands and sing as one, that we will be what we've come here to be. Yes, we're gonna be what we've come here to be. What if I'm a beacon of that light that shines in all of us? And what if I'm the only guide some will see? Then I must recognize within the Spirit, and it's only love. And I must be what I've come here to be. Yes, we're gonna be what we've come here to be. What if I did? What if I said? What if I looked around at everything with love? Love. What if I did? What if I said? What if I looked around at everything with love? What if I did? What if I said? What if I looked around at everything with love? What if I heard? What if I gave? What if my hand reached out to everything with love? What if I'm a beacon of that light that shines in all of us? And what if I'm the only guide some will see? Then I must recognize within His Spirit, and it's only love. must be what I've come here to be. And I know the first step begins within me. What if I felt perfectly whole? What if my heart opened to everything with love? What if I knew only the truth? What if my mind accepted everything with love? What if I'm a beacon of that light that shines in all of us? And what if I'm the only guide some will see? Then I must recognize within the spirit, and it's only love. And I must be what I've come here to be. Yes, we're gonna be what we've come here to be. Oh, Mother, Father, Spirit, guide us from above.
Begin Within Ministries proudly presents Sofa Sundays with your hosts, Reverend Dr. Michelle Izuku and Reverend Jeannie Sovereigns. Sundays at 11:11 a.m. Arizona time and rebroadcasts on Mondays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Come join us on the sofa every Sunday morning. Sofa Sundays with Michelle and Jeannie. Learn more at www.beginwithinministries.com. In partnership with New Thought Media Network.
Good morning, guys.
Hey.
Good morning. Check, check. Oh, I can hear it. Let's check the live feed and make sure, since Jeannie's not here, I will do it to make sure we're all good. Hope everyone's well on this beautiful Sunday. Not as hot as it has been.
I'm sorry, the live one.
Let's just see. Oh, that's the one. Well, I wish Jeannie were here because I don't know how to check it.
Check what?
Apparently. Yeah, I was going to check us. Oh, here we are. It wasn't me. It was the technology. Let's see. Can you hear it? Yay! We can hear it. So we did good today. Technology's our friend. Thank you, Lyric Davis, the beautiful Lyric Davis, for helping us get everything ready this morning. She does all the sound tech and the setup of the stage and everything. So
She runs a tight ship.
She does. She's like, you guys are going on right now. So we appreciate you. And as you can see, Jeannie is not with us.
I'm Jeannie.
Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, Reverend Jeannie Sockno, my wonderful husband's here joining us
Hello.
today, so I appreciate him being available. Not that he had much of an option. No, I'm just kidding. He always has an option. He always has an option. But he always says yes. He loves to
Of course
do
I
it.
do. I love my wife.
Well, it's fun to talk on the cuff like this, the way that we do it, right? It's stress-free, it's fun. You know, we created it that way so that we would not feel stressed out just to come here and
Correct.
do this every Sunday. So we have a great topic today, and our friends are in the house, and hopefully we've got friends online there. And so let's get started by praying in. With a deep breath, just release everything that's already happened this morning. All the doing, all the thinking, all the being, we're just going to let it go. And be grounded, settled, present in this space, in this present moment. And the next breath, also releasing anything coming after our time this morning. We know it will still be there. It's not going anywhere. We can leave it where it is. Allowing ourselves to be fully present in the awareness of what's happening right now as we are together in this moment. And in doing so, I recognize the one power, one presence, one life, infinite source that is back of all things. It is everything, everywhere present, all the time. It moves in, as, and through each one of us perfectly. We are each the perfect, whole, and complete manifestation of that energy, of that life, of divine source, of that inspiration. And I'm grateful for this truth, and from my truth, I set my word into the law, knowing that as I do, I set the law of God in motion for our time together. Knowing that as we allow ourselves to be present, to be grounded in this space, this time, this moment, the ideas, the stories, the sharing flow easily, divinely guided. The laughter comes and the joy and the connection is felt as we allow ourselves to be in this moment fully. And I'm grateful for this time. I'm grateful to be on the sofa this morning. I'm grateful for my husband saying yes. And so I let it go, knowing trust that it's already done in the mind of God. And together we say, and so it is.
You're the one that said yes. I'm gonna ask you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but he said yes. He said yes when I asked.
That's about when I asked you to marry me, you said yes.
That too, and I would say it again. I will say it again. Well, this is week 3 in the Sacred Imagination. Is that right? Yes, Sacred Imagination theme. This is month 5 in our year, week 20 already. We're already in week 20 of the year, which is crazy how it goes. But we are looking at, last week we looked at I see beyond what is to what can be, which was a really powerful topic last week. And this week we're looking at creative thought brings divine ideas into form. So think about that again as I say it. Creative thought brings divine ideas into form. And as we talk about this morning, I want to start with a couple of things of understanding. Is that we are co-creators with Spirit. We create, but we are co-creating with that inspiration, those ideas that are coming from Spirit. We're not making stuff up. You know, it's just like what's that? The riddle or the story about the man who said to God, or the scientist who said to God, "Yeah, you can go. We figured everything out. We're all good. I think we know how life works, and we can create this and do this. So we don't need you anymore. You know, thanks for being here." God said, "Excuse me? Like, what are you talking about?" "Oh yeah, we know how to, grow things, and we can do all this stuff. We figured everything out. We know how to do this." He goes, "Oh, okay. Well, how about you show me by creating what was it? How do you create a beach or something like that?" And I'm ruining it because I forgot the segue. And the guy says, "Oh yeah, no problem. Let me show you." And he goes to pick up the dirt, and God said, "No, get your own dirt," which I thought was so amazing. So while we have our free will, and our thoughts are manifesting, and we are creators. We are not creating of our own stuff. We are God stuff in human form. So we are creating from that source always. And so what we're saying is that creative thought, our ability to have creative thought, brings those divine ideas into form, into reality, into what we're experiencing and seeing, and what's happening in our lives through our ability to have creative thought. So then it makes perfect sense that having the opposite kind of thought, having fearful thoughts, overthinking, limiting beliefs would also block that ability for those divine ideas to come into form. And it would make things more difficult. So think that's the basis of that affirmation, that creative thought. As long as I allow myself to be having that creative thought, those divine ideas come to me, and then I bring them into form.
Awesome.
Did I give you a mic? I did.
No, I have one. I was just listening to you. My pledge today was to let my wife finish her sentences, not over talk, because sometimes I have stuff pop in my head, and in fear of it leaving, I will try to jump in. So
That's why I write stuff down. I
Right,
didn't
right.
actually give you
that's
stuff.
fine. So I think a good place to start here is identifying this idea, this fact that our ability to even start the process of having creative thought comes
Yeah.
from God, comes from within us, right? This
Divine ideas.
the divine idea starts. So starting off that premise by identifying this idea that I'm going to now delve into the realm of creative thinking is a godly tribute. It's a godly attribute. It's a godly emotion, godly feeling. So you delve into that, and you get into the thought of creativity, and that's God working.
100%.
Right?
And it's staying curious, staying open, staying, having the trust in God,
Right.
right? But also being still. One of my favorite sayings from the Bible is be still and know that I'm God. Like, knock it off, recognize that I'm God and all is well. And you can say that both ways, but I sometimes don't allow for the stillness. And when you don't allow for the stillness, sometimes that's another way of blocking, when we don't allow ourselves to ever be still and allow those thoughts to come. You know, we can stay in our minds and overthink and have all kinds of busyness going on, all kinds of stuff going on. The whole time there's a divine idea that's trying to come through, and it can't get through. We can't even hear it, because I don't know about you, but for me, those divine ideas are oftentimes quiet, and they come soft and kind of quick, you know. And so if you're overthinking, or if you're afraid of something, or if you're sitting in your past, you're feeling angry, or you're feeling bad about something, or you're worried about something, and you're all over the place in your mind, that little divine idea that comes through is kind of drowned out.
Right. We're both, my wife and I are both people that overthink.
Yes.
Our brains are, well, I know that early, our brains are very, very active, constantly overthinking details and making sure and a lot of that overthinking comes in the form of consideration, considering other people's feelings, other people's thoughts, other people's energy. Again, aligning with this idea of divinity, right? Because divinity requires us to be considerate. Divinity requires us to be accepting. Divinity requires us to be kind, right? If we're going to be in that space, it doesn't allow us to start thinking negative thoughts or letting demons in to kind of, control our thoughts. And there's a balance of thought and feeling and energy that allows us to even call it that, right? So it's like, if we're going to start to think and create in that space, we have to be quiet enough, calm enough to accept that, we could actually align with that, right? We can sink into that because it's in us. Does that make sense? And it's almost infinite. That sign, a lot of people have that tattoo, things being infinite, continuous. It's like the boomerang on Instagram. Is that symbol, right? Is that same symbol?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a symbol of continuity. If you are able to start with divinity and God-fearing energy and goodness and caring and consideration and divinity, it's going to continue. It's a cyclical thing. You start your thought, you create, you produce, right? Because creativity ends up in you becoming and being and putting out that energy. It's a loop. You go back into it, continue to do that. It's a continuum. It's a beautiful continuum. This is why the people that have that balance, that spiritual balance, are amazing, incredible people like yourself, because you flow in that divinity, in that excellence, in that idea of mindfulness and care. It's part of what you are. And the creation happens when you are outwardly doing things to honor others.
I love that.
Thanks.
Thanks for saying that. I have that. Very, very sweet of you. You know, and I was thinking about,
And you need water. And you need water. Okay. Make some water.
when we're thinking about what was I gonna say here? The flow of the flow. So what's blocking, what can be blocking the flow of those divine ideas coming in? So doing the opposite, right? So being the opposite of that. One thing that I love to say is keeps that curiosity open. It's I can't wait to see how God works this out. So instead of being upset at something, being fearful, being a Debbie Downer, getting yourself all like worked up about something, say, hey, and I know Ann says this all the time. Well, I can't wait to see how God works this one out. I'm like, let's just put it over there, give it back to God, let God work this out. Yeah, because that keeps it curious, keeps it lighthearted, keeps it positive, and also keeps that trust there, the knowing that it always does work out. And I know in hindsight, you can go back through things and say, oh, I see why that happened, or I see why it went this way, and or maybe something happened and it's like, I didn't like that, but I can see the good that came from that. And so in our moments of walking through it and not being able to look back yet, trying to keep that curiosity of how is God going to work this out, because I trust that God has my back, and even in this, no matter what. It's easy to believe God has your back when good stuff's going on, but what do you do when something you don't like is happening? How do you say God has my back here? Well, you say, well, I can't wait to see how God works this out. I can't wait to see what God's going to do with this, because I don't know what's to be done with this, you know? So it's but it's a practice. I mean, it's something that's why you keep cards like this. Like, that's why we give these affirmation cards out. You keep cards in your sight, somewhere you go often to remind you, oh yeah, that's right, this is how I do life. I do this kind of stuff. I do affirmations. I do meditations. I say my prayers every day. I do my heart math meditation. If I only have 3 minutes, I'm going to do that meditation. You keep these tools with you at all times, but you need to keep little reminders. We made this card this size so you could put it in your wallet, or you could stick it on your mirror in your bathroom, or whatever. But there's lots of things we could do when we put an intention rock, or whatever it is, something that you set somewhere, or an alarm on your phone that says, hey, where's your mind at right now? What are you doing right now? Are you staying curious? Are you staying open? Are you trusting that God has your back? So keep that check going, because it's so easy to fall into the old patterns or the way that the world operates, making it seem like that is not the case. And it's very easy to get caught up in that and run with that negativity.
I follow this kid online on Instagram, a young man, a Caucasian kid, probably would never have met in real life, under any circumstances. This is why I love Instagram, because there's a plethora of people that in this kind of modern America have no business, interacting, unfortunately, which is kind of so I'm about to bring you a positive of social media. Positive is I get to see this person living their life. He's a young man who's clearly awkward, clearly uncomfortable with himself and others, but he talks about making an effort to be something positive. And he talks about having negative thoughts, but then pushing those negative thoughts back and being something positive. So his outward persona is manufactured, created, but he's choosing to create it from a divine place. Is that interesting? So that's kind of where I went to when you talked about this kind of creative thought brings divine ideas into form. His creative thought was inspired by the fact that he has this opportunity now. He's like $250,000. Right, he's just a simple kid, because people identify with that. He's actually kind of embellishing or embracing this idea of creativity and thought, but from a divine position, because he can. That's what he always says. He says, smile at somebody you don't know, because you can.
Yeah.
Get out of your own brain because you can. You know, be a kind person. Do something nice for someone you don't know because you can.
Yes, I love that.
That's how he behaves. And so he's like really just overly manifesting this idea of I can, and he's doing it, which is like I'm watching this kid like, wow, what an amazing young man.
Yeah.
And but he talked about depression and how one day he just like was like, well, forget this. I'm not going to live like this for the rest of my life. Let me go ahead and do something different because what I'm doing right now is not working.
Right.
That's how he spoke. It was incredible. So anyway, yeah.
Look at the divine ideas running through that young man and the lives he's affecting because he's been open to it. He allows it to come through and he's not judging it. He's just following those guidings. And he may not call it that, but that's what it is. That's how it works. God, it's being used for his own good and someone else's good too. So never underestimate things that you're going through. And I'm speaking from my own experience. Things that you're going through that it will benefit someone else someday.
Yeah.
If you're honest about it.
Right.
Don't be ashamed of it. Share it. Right? And there's no shame in the game. We're not doing the shame game. We're not doing that. Be honest about it because guaranteed there's other people out there going through the exact same thing and maybe worse, and they don't have anyone to talk to. And somehow they'll find your feed or they'll hear you speak and they'll be like, oh my gosh, that's me. And if that person is okay, maybe I can be okay. And then you don't know who that person affects. That person may then step up and do something and it helps somebody else. And that's all we gotta do is just keep helping each other. And I think that's really the true gift of life. Like those experiences, sure, money's fun and getting to do certain, but when you help another human being, especially the moment where they have an aha, or they see something, they feel something. When she raised her hand, you can go ahead and come up and grab my phone, honey. There's nothing like what that feels like, and I think it's because our spirit, we recognize our oneness in those moments.
There's an incredible song by the artist Chris Williamson called "The Changer and the Changed," and it talks about how we're both reaching forward and reaching behind. So we're reaching forward for someone to change us, to show us a different way of looking at things, and through that we reach behind and pull people behind.
It's a beautiful song.
It's a phenomenal. The whole album is about that kind of transformation and how we impact others, and as we're being impacted by others.
Yeah. And when we can allow ourselves to move that way, it's a beautiful thing. What do you guys say?
No.
That's beautiful. I love that. And if you think about it, maybe put that in the comments of this when you feel up to it. Yeah, that's, to me, that's such an important part of what we do in life. And I was going to say too, what was the other thing? Oh shoot, I lost it. Anyway, doesn't matter. But these things are important. So when we're looking at creative thought, brings divine ideas into form. I'm curious, like, what creative thoughts have you been having? Like, what ideas have been trying to emerge through you? And I love that feeling, like especially when we're working on something and we start getting ideas. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, like it's hard to get me to shut that down. I want to create. I want it to come through. I love that feeling of creating, but I still have to go to work. I still have, regular things to do. And it's hard sometimes to stop that feeling because I have other things. It's a very powerful place to be. So if you can find that place to be still and allow it to come through and then go with it.
It is.
It's awesome.
It is. And, outside of, clinical, medical diagnosis, psychosis that one might have, or mental illness, as one might have, I think on some level we all have kind of some level of mental affliction, right? As human beings, we have some things that the mind is so complex.
Yeah.
Our world right now is so complex. And so I find myself being bogged down continuously by negative things. And it's a battle to make sure that I'm allowing the positivity to reign supreme and to win. Because, you know, it can be hard because, again, you have to train what's the number, babe, you talked about, you know, to undo negativity, like one negative thing, to undo it, you need 10 positives, something like that. Someone said something like that, yeah. It's like, negativity is a very powerful drug, right?
Oh, we did a 3 thing. You say something negative, you gotta say 3 positive things.
Right, yeah, so this is her exercise, but you say something negative,
It's working.
it works, yeah, no, it works. And you say you undo it by doing 3 positive things. But I'm sure there's a statistic around that. There's
Making that other muscle stronger.
Right, right. Because, and it's working, you know, because we talked about this last time I was on the
Oh, we did,
yeah. So creativity, in all realms. So let's shift a little bit because that's the uniqueness of the recorders of the sofa. Okay, be ready for this. The uniqueness of the sofa.
Only when you're here, babe.
Right, we're gonna shift.
No, just when anything.
We're gonna shift. The uniqueness of the sofa. Creativity. Okay? I'm talking about creativity. I just recently, because basketball was my profession, I was a professional athlete for 13 years. And now I think about it, like a divinity and godliness and the kind of the things that align us with God. This is a great space to be able to talk about basketball. Basketball is a really unique game. Anne likes basketball, a lot of our congregation likes basketball. It's a very unique game. Basketball has a lot of divinity and flow and infinity in it. And here's why. When we're in the lab and we're creating, right, there's a lot of opportunities, especially when I was playing, there's a lot of opportunities for negativity to reign supreme. So you watch video, you go to practice, and in practice, you start to train and you're negative, and you're training something that doesn't work, right? Because I missed this shot 5 times, and I'm going to train it again and again and again to try to make that shot 5 times over whoever, Brittany Griner, Victor Wembanyama, Shaq. I'm going to try to make that shot 5 times, but I didn't make it. Creativity. Now, when you get to the space of God, because Coach was hounding me because I kept missing that shot. Okay, when you get to the space of divinity and goodness and creativity for good, what starts to happen is, and this is what I love about the women's game and the evolution of the NBA and the WNBA, is that there's a lot of positivity and godliness in this idea of creation. I'm watching these young men and women do moves and do things that have never been done once in the game of basketball. And that's coming from God. It's forcing them to now expand the horizons, expand their creativity, because God is saying, hey, try this. You have to be comfortable to do that. You have to be happy to do that. You have to feel good to do that. God lives in those spaces when you're feeling happy and creative and good to try something different in a space that typically is very rigid and very strict and very orchestrated and very controlled. But now you're telling me now, okay, so I got to find a solution, and the solution to my problem comes in creativity. Adidas has an awesome ad on that, by the way, with James Harden, talking about creativity and how it's close to the divinity in God. It's a genius concept. I think about it. You guys make me think too much.
His brain's gonna hurt later.
Right, it is.
It's so true,
good.
though.
Yeah.
It's so true, though. We have all the answers. It's infinite. We know everything.
Right.
But we don't ever shut up, or we don't ever stop. We're never present long enough for that to come through.
Right.
You know, you having a problem with something, instead of being quiet, getting still, maybe meditating, maybe going to thoughtful prayer, maybe being creative and coloring or something so that it can come through. You tell 5 different people about over the phone how miserable you are about it and how awful it is, and you just perpetuate the situation and give that energy instead of, and you can't hear the divine ideas trying to tell you, hey, I got the answer for you, I can fix it. Fix it right here, yeah. So
Dug in like a
Right.
tick.
dug in like a tick, yeah.
Right.
And I'm never speaking to anybody here because I'm telling you, this is all my own experience is what I'm speaking from.
Brilliant.
But it's being able to at some point, stop all that. I remember being a kid, and I'm sorry, Jennifer, if you're listening, but I remember Jennifer would go through the friends to tell the same story to everybody. She couldn't wait to tell everybody what was going on about whatever the situation was, and you'd be like, oh my gosh, can someone else use the phone? Geez, it's like so annoying to have to hear the same gripe over and over again. That was so funny when she was younger. But that's not where those divine ideas, that's not how you won't be able to hear them. They don't come through when you're doing that. You're not tuning the frequency right. You're not in that present space. So get quiet, be still, and allow those thoughts to come through for those answers, or even it doesn't even have to be an answer for something. It could just be that Spirit has something for you to do.
Right.
And I know that's been happening for you a lot.
Right.
A lot of things have been coming through for my wonderful husband here, and we've been answering it. Instead of judging it or worrying about, you've been answering it.
Stop believing that people are the single iteration of what you just saw. So if I see someone do something for 5 minutes or 5 seconds or 2 seconds online, that's not what they are. Human beings can change, even people that commit horrible, atrocious crimes. And I've done that sometimes. I'm judging you for, some people, have a lot of darkness in their heart, and they're gonna need a lot more work. But I really do, let's get back to the basketball analogy, but you can use it for anything. So I remember when I used to coach kids, and I love to coach with kids, these little tiny little kids, running around, coaches, trying to just figure out life. Yeah. And there's creativity, and you have these divine moments in creativity for these children, because everything was them creating. The first time they did not a rebound was them creating. First time they made a good outlet pass was them creating. First time they dribbled and got past somebody and made a good pass is creating. The next time they had to stop because the defense was there, they had to change direction and pass that way is creating. God was in those children. You could see it. It was divine. They were powerful. They were powerful. They were intentional. They were loving it. Their eyes would light up. But the moment, and I had some coaches.
See what their bodies could do.
Right.
Right. Feeling themselves do those things.
Right. But the moment that, and I was, I did the moment I did this. The moment as a coach and as their guide, or any of my other coaches, we hit them with a stifled negative, or don't, or you can't, or you'd see fear stop them. And that was stopping that infinite loop of divinity, of creativity, of beauty. They were fearful. They now weren't in a space of flowing easy, like you said, being still and letting just the things happen. They were in a fret, in fear, in a stage of shock. And I didn't realize that at the time, because try that, parents. Try that, people at home. Be just positive with your child, and embellish and embrace and empower. Not obviously with short prompts of micro correction, but for the most part, the macro, be positive, be good, be encouraging, and that created the divine spirit will be absolutely unstoppable in your child, and that has to be the energy that they have for the most, more than the negative. And I'm guilty of the opposite, by the way. So just to be clear, so all this stuff is helpful for me to be able to understand how I can be better as a human.
I love that. Yeah, it is. It's letting that divinity flow through you. But there's, even when you're a little kid, we were watching a video of little kids with animals and how beautiful it was. And I said, we're born this way. That's how we're born. We're born with that beautiful, caring heart, want to help, noticing. These are little children noticing an animal in need, or noticing little tiny things. And it was so beautiful. The little dog needed some water, so the child helped him with that. Just these little kids, like some in diapers, were just noticing these pets and helping. Yeah, putting a blanket over a dog. We're born that way. We are not born full of hate. We're not born racist. We're not born hurting each other. We're not born doing that. And so these things are these things that happen to us as we grow. not that the parents are trying to do these things, or teachers, or whatever adult or whatever situation happens along the way. Maybe some are, but you know what I mean. Like most of us parents didn't know we were doing things
Right.
that would be harmful. We were just trying to do our best too. And so, but once you become an adult, you could stay in that space, or you could start practicing and getting yourself back to that childlike, it says in the Bible, childlike faith, that childlike place. It's still you. That is exactly who you are. It's not even a child thing. We see it in children, but we are all that, whatever size we are.
Right.
We are, that's our spirit, that's our true nature. And it's still there, no matter what you've been through, no matter how you've been or haven't been, whatever. You still are that inside. And this is how you can bring that out, allowing yourself to have those moments of stillness, of trust, of faith, of creative thoughts.
So you're saying the core human characteristic is what?
Good.
Explain that.
We are, because that's what God is. God is love. And we are God in human expression. We are spirit in human expression. So we, at our core, we are love. But we could be operating from filters, not allowing that to come through because of things that have happened over our lifetime. But that's why we course correct now. That's why the more we learn, the more we can identify, oh, I see. So whenever we say something negative, we have to say 3 positive things because we are working on getting our original state stronger than the state that we have adopted to survive this world.
Right.
Or, that we have learned from others, or that we see on TV or whatever. We have chosen to not allow the negativity to be stronger in us,
Right.
and to allow our true nature to be what's really stronger. So it's redeveloping that muscle, really, over that practice.
Love it.
Yeah, so what time is it? How are we doing on time?
Excellent.
Perfect. Okay, so what I want to say is when you are in a creative state, when you are doing things in your life or looking for answers for things or trying to figure out the next move forward, just ask yourself, am I operating from or creating from a place of fear? What's my temperament like right now? What am I feeling like right now? Am I coming from fear or am I coming from possibility? That creative, divine possibility. Where am I coming from as I'm trying to figure out my next move? I think it's really important to at least, if nothing else, stop there and find out where am I coming from. Because I've said this many times, so it's a broken record for me, because I say it to myself over and over. If I'm coming from past thinking, feeling mad, sad, or bad, if I'm coming from future thinking, worried, stressed, fearful, etc., none of those are the right moves for what's happening right now.
Operational modality of a human being has to be, like, if you're operating and you're trying to function in the space of problem solving, right? It has to be from a place of good and calm.
You'll know.
And I like that. So that's one thing she talks to me about. I try to answer questions, kind of these life questions when I'm in a state of, like word for the other day, fret, panic, fear, and it never works because you make the wrong decision.
Right.
And you'll do something that's defensive instead of it being, operationally, consecutive or kind of moving through a process in a way that's calm, positive, and kind of operationally functional. Like, okay, what's that? You have a company has what do they call it? SOP, standard operating procedures, right?
Yeah.
It's a set of rules that flow and make sense, and then logically they have progression. And so as a human, I think we have a standard operational procedure that is functional only in times of peace and calm, and like it works, it makes sense. Every step has a continuum. But when we're in the state of threat or displacement, then that SOP we don't function or follow that SOP.
Right.
we're following, we're just all over the place. We're pulling from all these space of just,
And then we wonder why it doesn't work.
right, then
Yeah.
we wonder why it doesn't work. Yeah.
Well, it's pulling from a past that no longer exists.
Right.
That anger, that
Right.
feeling bad about something, or, you know, sad about something, that's from a past that's not happening right now.
Right.
And so it's not the answer for what is happening right now. And that future thinking is for a future that may never come.
Right.
So those responses, and I'm guilty of it like everybody else. We're all doing that. We're all flipping into the past and future thinking and not moving from the present.
Right.
But we have all of our divine ideas are right here. They're right here, right now, and we just need to be still, be quiet for a minute, and trust the process and allow it to come. One thing that I've been doing lately, because I can get myself in a panic, and it's two things that happens when you feel that way. Like I have things I want to be doing for my own business, and so sometimes I don't get them done when I want to get them done. And then I start to panic, like I'm behind now, I'm not gonna get this done. And I have been saying to myself, in God's time, stop judging that. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be fine. It doesn't matter if you did it yesterday, it doesn't matter if you're gonna do it tomorrow. It's fine. It will all be in God's timing. Don't worry. And I have been calming myself down and getting myself in the present moment, not spitting out in the future like, well, I didn't get it done, so this is gonna happen. No, you don't. No. I just didn't finish it. And God still has the same outcome for me. I still am creating the same outcome. Time is irrelevant when you're in that space, when you understand that space. So I'm not having lack of separation, and I just can't think of the terms today at all. What is it? Separation. There's a term that's something separation. Now I can't think of it. But when you're doing that, you're coming from a place of lack, operating from a place of lack when you start panicking like that because you think there's not enough time, there's not enough money, there's not enough whatever. So it's a space of lack. I'm perpetuating that. But if I slow down, I go, no, it's okay. I didn't get it done. When I thought that if time is abundant, and time is a construct of humans, not of God. So I don't have to worry like that. Let it go. It's okay. I will get it done this weekend. It's not a problem.
That's interesting because you definitely do.
I do.
Have that energy, like she'll, and I have that energy too. But sometimes I want to push it away to try to operate the space of being present, as you said. But yeah, that energy it can be deceptive in the sense that it makes you feel like you're at a operating space of a lack.
Yeah. So I realized what was belief in separation. That's what it was, Anne. Belief in separation. I believe I'm separate from God.
Right.
Instead that I'm an embodiment of the Spirit.
Right.
Yeah. So if I'm in the flow, what's to say that my not getting those things done wasn't all part of the plan anyway? Who's saying that? I'm saying that. Right? I'm putting it on that. I say I'm pointing out that this is pretty or not pretty, or this is good or bad.
Right.
Spirit that's not how that works. It's a human construct, a human thing.
Right.
So if I can, every once in a while, I remember and I go, hey, it's all good. It's all good.
Right.
The thing that I am manifesting and I'm excited to create is still right there. And it's no big deal. The timing is no big deal. None of that matters. So it's a place to kind of try to be. But as we close this up, I want to say that affirmations, visualizations, gratitude, intentional thought, prayer, those are great ways to allow creative thought to flow. When I go to bed at night and I put myself to sleep and I'm laying down, we'll pray ourselves out. He'll pray us out. But when I go to sleep at night, I will play in my visualizations. I'll play through maybe things I want to be doing in the house, some remodeling stuff I'd like to do, I play in that and I fall asleep in my visualizations,
Right.
And I allow that energy to flow through me because it feels good and it gives me nice,
Right.
pretty dreams.
Right.
You know?
She said in the last stream she was riding a horse with Fabio.
No, I did
I'm
not.
just kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh my God.
I'm kidding.
It's not true.
Playing in the space of the imagination.
It is.
No, it is. It's a wonderful thing. One of my last,
You turned the fan on.
no, I can do that. I did. One of my
It's hot.
I'll turn on in a second. One of my last things that I did was, Lyric, can you turn the fan, please? For your mother? One of the last, you'll hear just a deepery. One of the last things that I visualized was, I have a fear of canoes.
Oh, fear of canoes in the
It's in the
front.
front.
Just pull that in the front.
Pull it this?
Yeah.
To what?
Right, yeah, right there's.
All the way right,
Thank you.
I have a fear of canoes, and canoes, because I have this fear of like,
You have fear of canoes probably because you're too big for a canoe.
right, but if a canoe flips and then
Oh,
you can't
that's
get
scary.
out,
That's
your
scary.
body's stuck in it, it's a big, then
I'm
you're
sorry, I'm
in
not
trouble.
doing
You gotta use your core to try to get back up, right?
You mean a kayak,
Yeah, kayak. You know what I mean?
which I'm never getting in
Yeah,
a kayak.
kayak.
No danger.
And so the last time I had
Those are scary.
that's so random. The last time I had a meditational thought, I actually found some peace in floating out into the calm ocean, no waves, but the calm ocean in a canoe, in a kayak. Canoe,
Wow.
kayak in English. Canoe, kayak, same
Well,
thing.
kayak you can get, or canoe you can have, but the kayak's one where you strap yourself, you're stuck in that thing and
The-
then it can flip over.
You slide out, right? So I
You have
hope
to
you
know
slide out,
how, you
but
have to know how to get out.
right. Anyway, so all that to say that yes, this kind of idea of what peace looks like
Mhm.
is comes, can come in different forms. So the same thing that can be peaceful
Yeah.
can be horrifying.
Yeah,
Right?
so, yeah,
That's the power of the mind. But that was a peaceful thought. Ocean clear,
beautiful.
maybe just some like that spot in Italy that has the rocks in the middle of the middle of the sea and the arch under it. I don't know if you see that. But anyway, I'm just kind of floating through that. That's peaceful. But then I have a fear of the water. I have a fear of it. So it's like, yeah, to create this idea of creating peace is a thing. The mind, the human brain, we talked about this earlier the other day, the human brain is an absolute, juggernaut of kind of intense opportunity for peace and good and positivity. So yeah, manipulate it the way you can.
Yeah.
For the best, for positivity, not negativity.
So I have a challenge for everyone for the next week. Whenever you have an idea or an inspiration, a God thought, you can hear Jeannie say a God thought, or creative nudge, you get something that comes to you. Write it down as soon as you can. If you can write it down immediately, that's great, or as soon as you can, write that down.
Do it.
And don't judge it. Don't go, well, I don't know how I can do that, I don't know how, none of that. Don't do any of that stuff, just bless it. Thank you for giving this to me. I love this idea. I bless this idea. And then take one small step toward it. And just see what can come through you with these divinely given ideas. That's it. That's my little challenge for this week. Do we have anything else? Any other final thoughts? No?
And nothing.
Mhm.
All right.
You? Good?
Well, I always have thoughts, but I
Oh.
don't want to bore people or confuse them because half the time I'm confused. So I love. I really enjoy coming on the sofa because it forces me to sit still. First of all, even though my legs are going and my body's going, but it forces me to sit still. First, second, it allows me to spend quality time with my wife or one of the children that has to work here. They have to be in their presence for a minute, and that's a good thing. Allows us to connect with the congregation, people that have different experiences in their life. We leave here. Our commonality is in this moment, but we leave here. We go do completely different things for the rest of our day. But it reminds us that people are the lifeblood of this life, of this experience. We choosing to spend our time together in this realm is a beautiful thing. And so, as much as we all deal with our own things. As much as I like to sometimes I've been in a really, last week was probably one of the best weeks I've had in a year or two, right? Like this last week, including today,
Yeah.
up to today, one of the best weeks I've had. Although there was negatives in there, but I feel like I'm feeling this emergence into positivity, because my wife will correct me. As I said, I'll just talk about myself. I say, no, I'm not that. She'll say, you're so handsome. I say, no, I'm not. Or she'll say, you did great. I'm like, did I? That was kind of that's my default setting. I don't know why. I don't
Yeah,
know
but you're
why.
getting better at checking
Getting
that.
better at checking that. But also, probably just as, or even more important is, I'm starting to enjoy even more being around other humans. But it's weird. It's
I
not.
know.
It's nice, but it's becoming a better thing, and I'm kind of making comments and having interactions and trying to, because it's cyclical, isn't it? I think Anne, a few weeks ago, I was complaining about politics and people, and because it's just so it's like a lot of negative. It still is. However, at some point you make a choice, and like, is that going to be my default setting? Is that going to be who I am every ghastly day? Because I can be like, and it's heavy. It's a lot. It's tormenting. It's so down. Like, it brings you down.
Well,
So-
our formative years as we're growing up.
Hold on a second. I need to hear this.
Okay. Our formative years when we're growing up, we absorb a lot of that information, not just from our parents, from the television, from other people who are raised by people who are thinking differently,
Right.
and we get this knee-jerk reaction to not trust our own intuition. And I know for myself that I was raised in an environment where nothing I did was good enough ever.
Right.
Didn't
Me too.
matter.
Me too.
And so it took decades and decades for me to recognize that person was doing the best that she could,
Right.
which because of what she received.
Right.
And so it was up to me to try and change that dynamic. With my own kids, I didn't change it as much in their youth as I would have liked, but now I get a second chance now to reinforce those ideas that are more empowering.
I
I
love that.
love that. Wow.
I love that.
Yeah.
We're
Wow.
all just doing the best we can.
Right. Second chance.
Give everybody some grace. Give each other some grace.
Is that conscious? Like, is that something?
It
that-
is now.
Yeah, I mean, but like, are you often like, are you often like sitting and having these experiences, like these things that are happening to you, right, or to happen in spite, whatever, however you put it, but you're having these experiences. Are you often like feeling like, you're are there moments where you can choose and you're wanting to go to the negative or to that muscle memory, but you're like, you know what, I'm going to not, because at our core when we go, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to go here and be positive, even though you don't like that person or you don't like what you're being positive about, you don't even want that to be the outcome necessarily, but you do it because you know that's what you want to put in the universe. Is that something that you're able to do?
I
I
am.
asked for personal
Yes,
experience.
I can choose that, but that doesn't mean that programming doesn't kick in. Perfect example recently was, having a conversation with my daughter. Something from the past got triggered, and I reacted in a way I didn't feel good about.
Right.
In the past, what I would have done is probably, buried myself in the corner, judged myself over and over and over again, but at the same time would have maintained the level of trigger. Whereas now I can say, do you understand why I reacted that way? It's because of old history.
Right.
What you said didn't merit that. I can say, I can apologize, or I can reset, or I can say, can we start this conversation over
Very
again?
good.
And if we can both reset in that conversation, it becomes different.
That's beautiful.
But if one or the other of us is still triggered, it doesn't transform. In this particular situation, I'm grateful that we are both committed, my daughter and I are both committed to changing the dynamic of our narrative
Right.
that is decades old.
Right.
That we reacted for very valid reasons in the past, both of us misreacting to one another.
Right.
But now I can say, oh, that did not feel good, that is not who I want to be, and I can go back and rectify it. Sometimes I catch myself in the moment, maybe more often than I used to, but it still happens.
What is that? So does that come from maturity? Or is it that we start caring less about our thoughts and feelings and we want to, like,
No, it is specifically a result of this work. It is specifically learning to understand that what I pay attention to is what I get more of. What I express is what draws that same thing to me. If I'm operating at, that damn kid, she feels it, the world feels it, the household feels it.
Right.
Whereas I can say to myself, I know that that's not the truth of this.
Right.
So if I stop and remember my training, just like with basketball, right?
Right.
You stop and remember, no, I've done this 100 times, I know how to do this.
Right. Brilliant.
I love it. Thank you, Miss.
Yeah, that's gonna help me. So
Very good.
consistency, yeah.
Very good. Glad to hear it.
Yeah, good.
Well, I'm complete.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna pray us out if you guys are,
Yes.
Yes.
you guys done, good?
Great, yeah, that was good stuff. I was doing a lot out of this.
Yeah, me too.
PD, can't come back, I'm taking your spot.
Oh. Well, I think we just need to have you on here when she's here, that'd be
Oh,
fun
I would love
too.
to, yeah.
Three of us. That would be fun, yeah. So we'll,
Sit between,
yeah,
get the love, so.
I know, you get attacked, both of you like throwing stuff out. All right, so creative thought brings divine ideas into form. You have a challenge of the journaling this week, just to see what comes up and what you can do about it, what you can do with it. So let's pray us out. We recognize our connection. We recognize that each of us are made of that sparkly God stuff, like Jeannie likes to say. We are that power, that love, that energy. We are each a manifestation of the divine, uniquely expressing as ourselves. And from my knowing of my truth, I speak my word for our time together, knowing that as we allow ourselves to receive what is ours to receive, we step forth with what we have gathered today. And we use it. We use it to allow our creative minds to have more space, to have more opportunity, to be expressive. We allow ourselves to be still, to be curious, to trust, to be open to the divine ideas that Spirit sends to us. We allow ourselves to let the divine flow through us, in, as, and for us. And I am so grateful. I'm so grateful for this truth for all of us. I'm grateful for our time together today. I'm grateful for our guest, my sweet husband. I'm grateful that Miss Ann made it today. I know that the divine blessing of radiant health is with her and is being revealed to her in this very moment. I send blessings to Jeannie and Dakota as they make their journey back home, knowing that they've had a divine time and are safe in their travels. And so I close up our time today saying thank you, God. And I let it go. And together we say, and so it is.
So it is.
So, whew, My brain is tired. Huh?
So,
I have to-
what's the?
I have a few things to
I
say.
thought that's how we went.
How can we support you?
Thank you, Miss Ann. Well, you can support this ministry in so many ways. You could subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Subscribing helps us. When we get to certain numbers, we get more benefits, the algorithm shares with what we have going on. So exposure is really important to a small community like ours. You could visit us. You could share our online feeds with other people that might be interested in what we're talking about and what we are sharing. If you feel spiritually supported in what we have shared today or any other Sunday that we've been on here, please consider sending your tithe to us or part of your tithe to us. We would appreciate that. We would even love it even more if you would become a spiritual church club partner with us. And that's a very simple thing to do. You just go to beginwithinministries.com, scroll down to the bottom of the page where the donation section is. And you can do that by doing a monthly donation of $45 or more a month for an individual or $75 or more a month for a couple or a family. That supports this ministry, helps us to produce things like our cards for our partners. All of our partners get the cards every week. When we have classes, when we create our journals, all of our partners get our yearly journals, things like that. It just helps us to support our community and helps us to have space and stuff so that we can gather. So we would appreciate that as well. And be in this room. If you're local, come see us sometimes. We would love to give you a hug or a handshake, whatever you feel more comfortable with. But we'd love to see you. And we are creating a community of like minds that we support each other through creating a life that we all love. So blessings to you. We hope that you have a beautiful rest of your Sunday and a blessed week. See you next week. Reverend Judy will be back. And we thank you so much for being here, honey. Appreciate it. See you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Tune in again next week at 11:11 a.m. Pacific Time, or Monday evening at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. In partnership with New Thought Media Network.